kinds of breeds of shark and, what shark inhabited what area and all this shit. Mostly...
Hell, there's probably some people back then that didn't even know what the motherfucker looked like.
Yeah. Because mostly back then, attacks went unreported. You know what I mean?
It's very true.
And it was a time period where the ocean was still being discovered. Hell, we're still discovering the ocean. That's why, every few years we discover a new organism or a new breed of something, a new breed of fish, a new breed of crab, a new breed of bacteria, whatever the fuck, right?
Right.
Always in the ocean, because the ocean is so goddamn big that it's no way.
It's a mystery.
No way for us to discover it all. It's not like land, It's not like land. I don't know if there's a fucking mag out there, but I'm sure that there's some beast out there that we haven't
found yet.
It's a hell of a lot better argument than, like Yeti or Bigfoot or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and the scary part is, goddamn, what was it? That octopus they found? It was like 20 feet long, 30 feet long, or some shit like that. It was like big enough to like wrap around a fucking ship.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real.
Yeah, it's real.
Right? And that's the thing. And you don't think there's possibly this thing that we say that's fake, Meg? I think it's a fucking highly possibility.
And I'll be honest with
because
you,
we can't go that fucking far down.
No.
In the ocean. If not, you wind up like those rich bastards and become a fucking can of sardines.
These guys paid $250,000 a piece to drown.
Well, kind of implode, but whatever.
Well, the motherfuckers ain't breathing no more, I can tell you that.
Motherfucker's dead!
And, not to be insensitive, but, that's some rich white people problems. And we might be white, but we're definitely not rich.
Yeah.
And
even if I had money,
even if I had it, I'm not spending $250,000 to go at the bottom of the ocean to see a fucking graveyard from back in the 1900s.
Yes.
I'm not doing it.
Anyway, getting back to Jaws.
Yeah, Jaws, from the very beginning, man. From the very fucking beginning. That first kill where
in the water.
You don't see the shark, which makes it more effective. What makes it effective is her screaming. It's her fighting for her life. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. One of my biggest fears is being in the middle of like a big body of water and something unknown
touches you.
Like,
I think
there's
anybody
a reason
that's ever been in the ocean.
There's a reason why when you go to a beach, they won't let you go out, but so far, because not only could there be sharks and other dangerous things out there, but the current will carry you under the fucking water and kill you. And when I've been to the beach millions of times, and if a guy or somebody goes out too far, you always hear that motherfucking whistle. Get your ass back. And everybody knows that. And, but imagine being on a boat and going out in the middle of this motherfucker where it's just you and your crew or your people, and you're like, let's dive off of this motherfucker and get into the water,
Right.
You don't have a watcher. You don't have somebody, you don't have that shit. You don't have a goddamn thing. And now imagine it's at night or early in the morning.
That's what always creeped me out about that scene is like the
lighting.
You
can't tell if it's...
You can't see anything.
You can't tell if it's night or early morning.
And if anybody's ever been to the beach and gotten in the water at, like, nighttime...
Yeah.
Or early
if you
morning,
had to take a
it's kind of
guess...
fucking creepy.
Yeah. If you had... Well, that's another rule. You can walk on the beach at night, but if you... Like at Myrtle Beach, you can't be in the water.
Water, yeah.
Yeah. So, imagine, like, hold on, I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say?
Beach, nighttime.
Oh, yeah. That scene, if you had to take a guess, do you think that was 12 o'clock at night or maybe 5 o'clock in the morning?
I feel like it was, like, towards the nighttime. Like, I feel like it was, like, dusk turning into night.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I've always portrayed it.
Or it could have been darkness.
Could have been.
Because it has
Charlie Murphy.
It has a tint of blue to it.
A little bit, yeah.
So it could be that early morning right before the sun rises. I don't know. I've always wondered about it. But like you said, it's an iconic scene. And from there, we have character development. We meet Chief Brody. And we meet the mayor, who's skeptical.
Yeah.
And we meet the townsfolk who are not thrilled about shutting down the beaches because it's a beach town. They rely on tourist dollars.
Right.
And from there...
it keeps the town alive and thriving.
And, we get introduced to Ellen, which is Brody's wife, and the kids, And, later on, they think they catch the shark. But in the words of Hooper, they caught a shark, not the shark.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I love the character development in here. And didn't that scene always gets me because it was very rare even for a horror film to kill kids.
Yeah, true.
And it's
kind of like the number one rule.
Yeah. And this kid goes out there and you just see his fucking float just and the blood is squirting out and all you see is hands flaring. I mean, he's obviously dead.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, Probably, it's just creepy. And,
it is.
At that point, it's kind of like everybody's woken up. Even the mayor's like, my kids were out on that beach. My kids were there. That could have been my kid.
Right.
And that's when they finally, signed the paper to hire Quinn.
Right, to get the shark.
To kill the shark. And then we get to the second half of the film. After the chaos, we go to more chaos with Quinn, Hooper, and Brody set out to find this big fucker.
Yeah.
And, 45 minutes of just pure greatness.
I always like the simplicity of Jaws and how effective that was.
Yeah.
Like, the death scenes were left to your imagination for the most part.
Yeah, it was kind of like, if you do that one death scene and you do it so effective, you don't need 2 or 3 of them. You just need that one.
Yeah. And this movie is iconic for the fact, of just like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it leaves your imagination open to interpretation and to make it seem worse than what it is. And that to me has always been like a key component of a good horror movie. Like, of course everybody loves a good splatter,
Yeah, plus you're going up against something without a conscience.
Right.
Like to the shark, he's not doing anything wrong. He's surviving. That's his food source.
Right.
Like, and that's what an animal does. When an animal kills, they're not looked at as serial killers. They kill for food, or if they find you a threat, it's
a predator type thing.
Yeah, that's what they do. And like you said, it's kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The way Texas Chainsaw Massacre made people very weary about stopping at creepy roadside gas stations.
Yeah,
is the way Jaws made people feel about going into the ocean.
Exactly. And I think the reason why Jaws is probably one of the most effective horror movies, I think it's safe to say, like, I mean, for a lot of people, this is like, their creepiest, like, this is their horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
Is because it's a real fucking thing. And I'd say, we'll just say 90% of people have been to the beach and can relate.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
everything in this movie is relatable. And I've always said, like, if you want to make a great horror movie, make something relatable and let your mind fucking wander. And this is what that movie does, just like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface is a fucking normal, not normal, but he's a human being. There's nothing crazy about him. He doesn't have superpowers or some kind of shit like that. He's just a crazy fucking deranged man with a deranged family that use everyday household items to fucking kill and eat people.
Yeah.
Jaws, same thing.
Yeah, like you said, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's a simple formula.
But so effective.
Yeah. And the performances by Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss and Roy Schneider in this film, the way that those three guys play off each other,
it's fucking great.
Brody being kind of stuck in the middle and kind of not being the type of the water person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He made it very clear that he doesn't really go in the water. Hooper being the marine biologist, which also means that he has access to the latest technology, including tranquilizers and cages and
tracking devices and shit like that.
All this shit. And then you have Quinn, who is just a born and raised fisherman.
Right.
He's your old school fisherman. He's not the ones out here with the fucking half hats on and the sponsored by Salt Life.
Yeah.
This is a real motherfucker. This is a guy who wears a jacket in 95-degree weather because he knows if he stays out there, he'll probably turn into a fucking,
You get sunburned, dehydrated.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera.
So, people, if you ever see old people or middle-aged people walking around with long-sleeve shirts on, it's because their skin is very sensitive to the sun, and they can get very bad rashes or sunburns or possibly both. Or they might already have some form of skin cancer and they don't want to get it worse.
Because they're smart.
Because, unlike the new generation of kids who wear hoodies just to wear hoodies, these people actually do it for a reason. So, anyway, back to the film, that whole last scene, and, of course, we think Hooper, might be dead. We don't know. But Quinn is definitely dead. We see probably the most, maybe the most shocking scene. Or maybe not the most shocking scene, but the most graphic scene in the film when Quinn is sliding down,
Yeah.
And of course, we can't leave out the, we're going to need a bigger boat. Because you want to talk about quota